I've been really struggling after my 9-year relationship with the woman I loved, and had 3 children ended after she left me for her affair partner, who is 15 years older, has 2 kids, and was married. He also willfully gave up custody time with his children while I've fought for 50/50 with my own. I'm not perfect in any way, but the struggle of going through all of this has been terrible. I've taken a lot of solace in reading other posts here on Reddit, and I appreciate everyone who has shared. I'm 34, BTW way, and my ex is 28, F. She really put me through the ringer, but the more and more I read, the more confident I am that through time I will heal and not dwell on this so much anymore. Thank you all in advance for reading, and I hope I can help you all as well if you're going through the same struggle. This is a letter I just wrote that I will likely never send. I've made the mistake of trying to make her aware of how bad this guy 43 is, but that's done nothing. If anything, it's made their bond stronger and made her want to protect him even more. The biggest challenge I believe that will ultimately work is just letting her go. I never deserved this, and no one else deserves to be cheated on. Here is the letter. I deleted the names for privacy. I'm writing you this letter because it's what I need to finally let you go. I might never send this to you, but I'm going to write it anyways. You just need to know how much damage you did to me through all of these years. I know you like to say that I did damage to you also, but that isn't what we're here to talk about. I was always good enough, and I never deserved to be treated the way you treated me. No one in the world deserves to be cheated on by the person they love and the person they thought they would spend the rest of their lives with. Maybe one day I'll forgive you, but right now I can't feel that emotion. The day you allowed a married man to come over and sleep with you was the day you proved you never really cared about us. Even though I didn't know it was going on, it was still shameful of both you to treat myself and Tiffany the way that you did. We both might not have been perfect, but neither are both of you. All I wanted was to have a family that could grow together, and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. You had me going all in, you had my entire heart, and you took advantage of that for years. There was a point where I thought we would enjoy the rest of our lives together, even when there were tough times. I was willing to keep going, even if things were rocky, and I thought you were willing too. You had me fooled thinking you really loved me more than anything in the world, and it made me feel special. Shame on you for using that to keep secrets safe and have a backup plan. Everything I did every day, working long hours, taking care of the kids, taking us on trips, and trying to build a home together was all because I dearly loved you. But that just wasn't good enough. But it was, and I was, and you'll know this in the future. Be real. A married man who sneaks around behind his wife's back and his children's back is nothing but evil. I'll never know what you see in him, but apparently it was good enough to break apart multiple families and send people into turmoil for years. In time, you'll see how messed up the two of you are. Good relationships are not born on lies and deceit, but rather on honesty and the willingness to accept another person's faults. There's no one in this world who is perfect for you, and there's no one in this world who is perfect for me. The only difference is that I accept that people can be different, but you choose to think that if someone doesn't fill all of your needs, then that person is not for you. Soon you'll find out that this monster is not going to fill all of your needs either, just like you thought about me. The hardest part for me right now is just letting go of the girl I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. It's so hard because we have so much history and growth together through all of these years. We had 3 children, bought a house, planned our future together, and you chose to just throw that all away. Maybe history isn't everything a relationship is built on, but it's still very important, and our history is much better than the history you already have with your so-called soulmate. Let me break it to you, he's not your soulmate. You were 19 when you met him and he was 35. You were in a solid relationship with a child on the way, both growing in our careers, and you decided a married man with 2 kids was a good thing to allow in. You made the bad choice, not me. I loved you and you just threw it all away. I was willing to go to hell and back with you and you just didn't care. That man has done nothing but sneak around and only was willing to be with you once his wife found out and divorced him. He'll get bored most likely, but then again maybe he's smart enough to realize that you are his last chance to be with someone for the rest of his life, because everyone knows the type of person he is from what he did to his family. I just wish you could see it now, and that's the biggest part of my recovery. I am very confident in time that you're going to want to be back with me, and when that day comes I hope to be wise enough and strong enough to tell you to stop. I will not endure myself to your behavior any longer. I never deserved to be treated that way, no matter how you spin the story that I was an awful person somehow. I accept that I was never perfect, but the way I was me was not fake, and I never, ever deserved to be treated like that. A lot of times I feel a low self-worth because of what you did and feel like he was better than me. And you know what? Fuck you for making me feel that way. I'm so much better than he was and will ever be. He cheated on his wife and kids and has no ambition in life but to keep stocking produce at a grocery store. Fuck him, I'm way better than he is. I keep getting up each day, even after what you put me through, and I'm determined to live a great life. I didn't need to replace you with some 20% bullshit because I know you are never going to be perfect. You will regret the day you ever told me you didn't want to be with me. Maybe I'm not perfect, but that dumb fucker is the biggest piece of shit around, and each day you're with him you're choosing evil over good. There isn't a soul in this world who thinks you made the right choice. You may be spinning your little webs of deceit together to make yourselves feel better and look good, but we all know who the 2 of you really are. The kids will know, and everyone's family knows. You might have him hang around your sisters, but I know they'll be thinking the same thing, even if they say how it's good you're happy. God, I begged you when I shouldn't have. It should have been the other way around. I should have left you the moment I found out. I should have told you to go be with him and watch you face reality. But that time has passed, and there's nothing I can do about it anymore but start letting you go now. I don't know that you'll ever really see the amount of evil you 2 have done, but I'm not going to wait around anymore hoping it will happen. I need to move on from what you 2 have caused and find someone who is loving, loyal, and accepts me for me with all of my faults. I think I've already found that person in XXX, even though we live far apart. She's been through what I have, and I trust that she's honest, real, and wouldn't put someone through what her and I have already been through in our past relationships. You could have had the world. You always talked bad about my family like they hated you, but you're the one who caused all of this. Shame on you for trying to make me go against them just to make you not look bad. I should never have done that. You should have been the one apologizing and trying to win their trust back. You just always want others to feel sorry for you, and you manipulate the people that care about you the most. I miss the times where we could go to holidays and birthdays together and just be happy. But you fucked all of that up the moment you let him through the door. You both lost everything, and it's so sad. Maybe you'll have a circle of people you can hang out with. People you likely aren't going to bring up the past to and who have no clue what you 2 did, but you're truly going to be lonely together. Day to day will come, the finances, the kids, the picking what to do or where to go. You might have a babysitter now, which I think you always wanted, but reality is going to hit you 2 like a ton of bricks. Just remember who stuck with you when shit hit the fan and was willing to keep going. In hindsight, I never should have, but I still can take pride in not giving up on you. You both gave up on us, though, and that's your true character, the both of you. I am not losing anything from letting you go, but instead I'm going to gain peace and happiness through time. Whether you stay with him or not, hard times will come. He may charm you, say the right things, but you gave him the playbook by always saying what parts you didn't like about me. That's an easy thing to do when a person opens their relationship to an outsider. but a true relationship works together and ends it the right way if things can't be fixed. You both chose the coward's route and will likely do it again when times get tough. When that day comes, I will not be a part of your manipulation anymore. You'll likely reach out to me and tell me how sorry you are, that it was all a mistake, and how much you didn't realize the pain you caused to so many. When that day comes, I will not accept you back. No matter how painful it is right now, I know that I will get better and happier, and you'll likely head in the other direction. At that point, I'll likely be able to forgive you because I'll be in a much better place, a place where we should have been all along. I'll have to fight my emotions from accepting you back, but it will be the right choice. You both made this bed and you will lie in regret for the rest of your lives. Just be a good parent, love the kids, and find someone who really cares about you and treat them better than you treated me. This is a baggage story. It's from back in the day, before cell phones, when long-distance calls were expensive, airline travel costly, and the only mail was postal. Recently, after 25 years of living in the back regions of my brain, I seem helpless to not dwell on it and overthink it. It's consuming me. I'm a 67, M, and the other prime in this story is my 65, F, X. I'm hoping my OMC story will be an exorcism letting me slumber soundly again. It will feature a 0-dark-30 phone call, a puzzling love letter, and hijinks in the kitchen. Let's get started. Out of college, I was commissioned as a lieutenant in the Army and sent to Fort Knox for 12 weeks of the Armor Officer's Basic Course. I had a number of GFS in college, but none really stuck. While at Fort Knox, I got a letter from one of the prettiest, funniest, and smartest of the bunch asking if she could visit me from California. She ended up staying for 3 or 4 weeks, and we had a good time. I hadn't met her parents, so I flew back to Cali with her to say hi. Dad was distraught that we planned to meet up again in Germany, my next permanent duty station, where we'd continue to explore our compatibility. "I will not allow my unmarried daughter to go to West Germany with you," was his verbal shotgun. I was 23, and she was 21, both products of parochial schooling and a Jesuit uni. Before I headed back to Kentucky, we were engaged. 5 months later, we were married on St. Patrick's Day. We ended up in Germany, living in a nice German family's 1 BDRM basement apartment. Our small village was 15 minutes from base. In the late 70s, West Germany was our front line against Soviet Eastern Bloc communist expansionism. As a new armor officer, I was quickly entrenched in 60-plus-hour work weeks, random 3 or 4 a.m. alerts, and frequent field exercises. All in all, it wasn't a family-friendly environment. My ex had excelled in French and signed up for German night classes on our caserne to stay busy. It wasn't long till she had completed the 3 or 4 courses taught by a young, attractive male American expat. She continued her classes at the local German uni, studying German and Italian. When time allowed, we beer-fested, skied in Austria, traveled Europe, and both ran local weekend 10 or 20,000 Volksmarches. I had completed the 111 German course and was loosely conversant in German. My ex joined a local track club and was a nationally German-ranked triathlete. About 2.5 years into our 5-year stay, we had one of her German club members, not really attractive and about 5 or 6 years old than us, over for dinner. Wine, beer, maybe a few mixed drinks later, I excused myself to hit the sack because my days started at 5 a.m. After sleeping a few hours, the Pilsener wanted to go its way, and I got up to use the bathroom. Our kitchen/dining room, like every room in German apartments, had its own door and it was closed. It held a large piece of translucent bubble glass. Our guest and my ex were in the kitchen. As I passed, I thought their distorted images were awfully close. I opened the door to find my petite ex in the German's lap. Were they kissing? Of course, denials all around, and our guest was loudly escorted out of our apartment while my wife protested it was all innocent. My ex insisted I had not seen what I thought I saw. We made up and moved on. She'd attend occasional out-of-town club training weeks. My wife also magically acquired a part-time cash waitressing position at a pub in city 30 minutes away. After 5 years, our time was up, and we returned stateside where I attended military schools for about 2 years, adding a new skill set: flying attack, a H-1 Cobra helicopters. My wife was desperate to avoid the typically middle-of-nowhere army posts and wanted to return to Germany. I sweet-talked my assignments officer and was thrilled when I could tell her we were going back to Germany. 2 months before my training was complete, she unasked our rural Alabama fort and headed to Germany to get us housing. She did a great job, and by the time I got there, she had organized a nice apartment in a German family's Hof, about 10 minutes from the small army caserne I'd be flying from. Both now fluent in German, we quickly made local friends, and my ex got a job as a travel agent. For me, the pace of being on the front lines resumed their previous intensity. I spent 40% of the time gone. When we could get it organized, we skied, traveled Europe, and took advantage of the contacts she was making in other countries. We traveled to Greece, Jamaica, and Thailand. Our mantra was we could visit family in America anytime. My ex's duties at the TA expanded, and soon she was traveling off-season to Austria, Italy, and Spain to contract for her small agency's bus tour to those destinations. 2.5 years into our 5-year stay, I was home alone, and while cleaning the house found lined page with my ex's hand writing torn into pieces in our bedroom trash bin. Iranian school children don't have anything on me, and with the help of Scotch tape, I was able to puzzle it back together. It was a letter from my ex to her married boss professing her love in German. Panicked, all hell broke loose when she returned. After all, she had torn it up, right? At any rate, it wasn't long after that she opted to move out and into her own apartment. I was completely out of sorts. Thank God I had a job that would accommodate an infinite amount of effort. After 2 months, I did meet a nice German girl at the local pub, and it wasn't long till we were in a relationship of sorts. Out of the blue, after 6 months on her own, my ex shows up and asks a favor. Her parents are visiting from the States and they don't know about her exit. Could she move back in for their visit, and could we play nice to keep up the illusion of Catholic wedded bliss? I don't know what I was thinking, but I acquiesced. My hot German date was fuming. My parents-in-law came and went, and then my ex just stayed. No big conversation, no new promises, no big agreement, she just stayed. After a checkup with her German physician, she mentioned she had been diagnosed and treated with chlamydia. Her Prussian doc said a lot of American men have it, inferring she got it from me. I had my flight surgeon check and I was clean. For the next 2 years in Germany, I was a crazy man. When she was out of town, I slummed around and there were plenty of willing women. I don't know if my ex was likewise busy, but I had put together she traveled with the boss to contract for the TA's future tour. All good things must come to an end, and it was time for me to get another shot of professional development stateside. We really didn't talk about it, but I thought we'd detox in Norfolk and get back on a more sustainable relationship field. I resolved to avoid bars alone and other situations that might tempt me to stray. I assumed my ex was thinking the same thing. I know, stupid. The school I was in was 6 months and had seminars of 18 students led by 3 senior instructors. Instead of being just Army, there were a mix of officers from the Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and even a civilian or 2. We all lived on campus, had a relaxed schedule, and friendly sports competitions started at 3:30 p.m. After about 3 months, one of my classmates, a geographical bachelor, married but family didn't move for the short 6-month course, out of the blue told me, "You need to treat your wife better." I considered it a curious remark and probably should have quizzed my ex about it. 6 months rolled around and it was off to the Pentagon for a 3-year tour on the Army staff. We dutifully moved to Virginia just outside the Beltway and acquired a nice golden retriever. Once again, for me it was an operations assignment, and these were busy times with the invasion of Panama, Desert Shield and Storm, provide comfort for the Kurds in northern Iraq, no-fly zones, hurricane relief and LA riots. My ex was hired by Northwest Airlines as a flight attendant manager for their international flights. After training for 8 weeks or so in MSP, she was flying to Europe about once a week. She had also really enjoyed the Myers-Briggs assessment we did in Norfolk and got hooked up with one of their highly regarded consultants in DC and helped him when he gave out-of-town workshops. During the 7 months of DSS, I was working on a 13/14-hour day/night shift. I must have had workaholic stamped on my personnel file. Tired one day, I called my ex who was out of town working an MBTI workshop. She answered the phone. "This is X in MBTI consultant's room." I am fully awake now and I'm like, "What do you mean you're in MCS room?" Lots of backsliding and something about a 2-bedroom suite was her ingenious response. Of course, when married MC drops her off a few days later, I am all into her shit. Still, she sticks to her story and says I'm just being jealous over nothing. Of course, 6 months later MC is now an ex himself, and we are off to a new assignment in Tennessee, 30 minutes northeast of Nashville. As I said before, I have workaholic stamped on my personnel file, and with the Cold War over, the pace stateside had picked up. 2 weeks after we unpacked the last box, I'm off on a USAF C-5 cargo plane with 3 Apache and the battalion's advanced party to the National Training Center in the Southern California desert for a 6-week training exercise. This time my ex doesn't get a job and spends most of her time at home. She has our GR to feed and walk and a few cats to keep her busy. After 6 months, I get hired to be the brigade ops officer. We supervised 9 subordinate battalions with over 320 helicopters. That is more than most developed countries have. At one point, we had helos in Africa, on the US border, in South America, and at the National Training Center. Of course, local training was being supported too. By now, I think workaholic is a tattoo on my forehead. My wife has explored Nashville and delights in taking me there to see up-and-coming bands in dive bars. Remember, this if before Nashville was discovered by California and had an NFL team. She seems to know a lot of the hungry musicians in town. After almost 3 years, I'm selected to go to Alaska. I'm like, how cool is that? My ex is not at all excited. She declares she is not going to Alaska with me, but will live the 2 years I'm gone in Nashville, while I'll be in Alaskan cold storage. She explains this will be great because we can get a head start on my post-Army life. I'll have 20 years completed then and can retire. So, like an idiot, I buy a small house near Vanderbilt Uni in Nashville. We move in. I spend about 3 months traveling getting special training, and in January, I'm off to take up my new responsibilities in AK. I call home diligently twice a week on preordained days. Life isn't perfect, but it's working. She gets a clerical position with one of those music licensing companies. That summer, some of our German friends, couple, visit me because Alaska is cool, and when my ex hears about it, she piles on. They come for 2 weeks while she comes for 1, so no real privacy in that scenario. Everybody goes home, and I make plans to spend Christmas in Nashville, doing the 2 calls a week drill. Christmas comes, and I am thrilled to fly south to Nashville with 1 year of separation under out belt. I spend a week at the house. My ex is taking me around to our friends, we open presents etc. We are having frequent sex. Few days after Christmas, our phone rings on her bedside at 3 a.m. I wake up, of course, as she's grunting and giving one-word responses. Weird, I think. Get up to use the restroom, and after I've done my business, think, Let me pick up the extension in the hall and see who is bothering us. As I put the handset to my ear, I hear me ex demand of the caller, "Hang up now." Click, click. I go in the bedroom and ask with a little humor in my voice, "Who was that, your BF?" There was a pregnant pause and then she answered, "Yes." So it was about 4 a.m. when she told me she wanted a divorce after 18 years. My flight to Alaska didn't leave for 2 days, and I spent it in the guest room, in shock. I hadn't noticed it before, but her BFS FN slippers were under the bed. She dropped me at the airport, and that was the last time I saw her in 28 years. I'm happily married for 26 years now with a 25-year-old daughter. Literally, for 24 years, once the divorce paperwork was done, I didn't have a 2D thought about her or those 18 years I spent sort of together with my ex. Now, when my mind is idle for some crazy reason, I relive every day of those 18 years. Unfortunately, it's not the good stuff, the travel, the skiing, the parties we enjoyed together, or the sex. No, now all I can do is think about who she was romancing while we were together. I've started a list of known and likely candidates. What about the young captain who wanted a pretty backseat rider for his Harley on a Saturday poker run? What about the handsome married German teacher? Did we not have kids because she didn't want to be tied down? Was I using a condom when we had sex because she didn't want to be on the pill anymore? Or was it to keep her from giving me something? Was I considered available in Germany when I was sleeping around because everyone knew my ex was unfaithful? Whenever I had a position that required travel and field duty, she didn't work. When I had regular hours and a no-travel assignment, she magically found traveling employment. Why did the one person she owed honesty to not know she was on the prowl? Her casual lovers knew. I get up at 3 a.m. and write angry letters I never send. Was I really that gullible or love-blind or tone-deaf or busy? Did I really waste 18 years of my life living with someone I didn't know? How do I tell my adult daughter about those years? Even more importantly, why do I give a shit now? I love my life without her. I have a beautiful, sexy wife of 26 years in my bed. I've had more passionate sex with her this year than I had in 18 with the ex. Why am I thinking of this sorry loser? Why can't I sleep? I know this is a long missive. I hope that in writing this and sharing with you, I'll earn some closure, some grace, some redemption. As a soldier, I've always said I like doing something for the 2D time. It's always so much better than the first. When I was dating my second wife, we talked religion, kids, money, and lifestyle before we exchanged rings. I pay much better attention to her and her needs. I've chosen post-army employment that has let me be there for my daughter at every stage of her life. My after-the-army career is measured and valued for what it allows me to see and do in our family. I'm a much better human now than I was then. Still, I feel I was cheated out of 18 years of good memories. Now that I'm 67, I'd give anything to get that time back. I hate the darkness those 18 years of memories have fallen into. It's like a charred section of a library. Bravo if you've hung in there and read this too long accounting of my woes and missteps. If you're like my daughter, you won't learn from my mistakes, but I pray you do. Most of all, I'm praying I've exorcised these pointless thought trains.